Welcome to the world of online learning. I am Dr. G.K. Viju, Professor, University of Garden City, Khartoum, Sudan. We at GK Online Learning Tutorial emphasize on the topics from software engineering, project management, quality management, strategic management, and mathematics. Today we are going to discuss the topics from software engineering. Please subscribe to our channel for continuous support. The next topic, that is about coding. The objective of the coding phase is to transform the design of a system into code in a high-level language and then to unit test this code. The programmers adhere to standards and well-defined style of coding, which they call their coding standards. That means the coding is a process of transforming the design of a system into a computer language format. This coding phase of software development is concerned with the software translating design specification into the source code. The cost of testing and maintenance can be significantly reduced with the efficient coding. The main advantage of adhering to a standard style of coding are a coding standard gives uniform appearance to the code written by different engineers. It facilitates code of understanding, promotes good programming practices. The characteristics of a programming language. Readability, that means a good high-level language will allow programs to be written in some ways that resembles a quite English description of the underlying algorithms. Portability, high-level languages being essentially machine independent, should be able to develop portable software. Generality, most high-level languages allow the writing of a wide variety of programs, thus relieving the programmer of the need to become expert in many diverse languages. Brevity, language should have the ability to implement the algorithm with less amount of code, and error checking. Being human, a programmer is like to make many mistakes in the development of computer programs. Code review. Code review for a model is carried out after the module is successfully completed and then all the syntax errors have been eliminated. Code reviews are extremely cost-effective strategies for reducing in code errors and to produce high-quality code. Means code review or peer code review is the act of concisely and systematically convening with one's fellow programmers to check each other's code of mistakes, and has been repeatedly shown to accelerate and streamline the process of software development like few other practices can. Normally, two types of reviews are carried out of the code module. One is code walkthrough and second one is code inspection. What is code walkthrough? In this technique, after a module has been coded, successfully compiled and all syntax errors are eliminated, a few members of the development team are given the code few days before the walkthrough meeting to read and understand the code. Each member selects some text cases and simulate execution of the code by hand. Means code walkthrough is a form of peer review in which a programmer leads the review process and the other team members ask questions and spot possible errors against development standards and other issues. The meeting is usually led by the author of the document under review and attended by other members of the team. The major objective of the walkthrough are to discover the algorithmic and logical errors in the code. Code inspection. In contrast to code walkthrough, the aim of code inspection is to discover some common types of errors caused due to oversight and improper programming. In other words, during code inspection, the code is examined for the presence of certain kinds of errors like use of uninitialized variables, jump into loops, non-terminating loops, incompatible assignments, array indices out of bounds, and improper storage allocation and deallocation, etc. In other words, code inspection is the type of formal review to evaluate the quality of written code. The aim of code inspections is to determine if the code meets the quality requirements or if it needs improvements. The code can be examined for quality, that is to check the general quality level of the given code. Clean room testing. Clean room testing was pioneered by IBM. This type of testing relies heavily on walkthrough inspection and formal verifications. The programmer are not allowed to test any of their code by executing the code other than doing some syntax testing using a compiler. Clean room software engineering is a theory-based, team-oriented process for development and certification of high reliability software systems under statistical quality control. The principal objective of the clean room process is to develop a software that exhibits zero failures in use. Software documentation. It is a written text or illustration that accompanies computer software or is embedded in the source code. The documentation either explains how the software operates or how to use it. The main mean different things to people in different roles. Or in other sense, when various kinds of software products are developed, then not only the executable files and the source code are developed, but also various kinds of documents such as user's manual, software requirements, specification documents, design documents, test documents, installation manual, etc. are also developed as part of any software engineering process. Software testing. Software testing is a process used to identify the correctness, completeness, and the quality of developed computer software. Software testing is an investigation conducted to provide stakeholders with information about the quality of the software product or service under test. It can also provide an objective, independent view of the software to allow the business to appreciate and understand the risk of software implementation. Test techniques include the process of executing a program or application with the intent of finding software bugs, or that means errors or other defects, and verifying that the software product is fit for use. Software testing involves execution of a software component or system component to evaluate one or more properties of interest. In general, these properties indicate the extent to which the component or system under test. Objectives. Testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding errors. Indirectly, testing provides confidence that the software meets the requirements. Testing helps in accessing the quality and reliability of the software. So here, it indicates the software testing meets the requirements that guided its design and development, responds correctly to all kinds of inputs, performs its functions within an acceptable time, it is sufficiently usable, can be installed and run in its intended environments, and achieves the general result its stakeholder desires. What is meant by an error? The difference between the expected and actual result. Bug, if the error comes at the time of development stage before production, and defect if the error comes after production. The basic testing strategies are black box testing and white box testing. Black box testing means tests that validates the business requirements, also known as functional testing or data-driven testing or input-output testing. It's a software testing method in which the internal structure, design, implementation of the item being tested is not known to the tester. And white box testing, on the other hand, tests that validate internal program logic, also known as structural or logic-driven testing. It's a software testing method in which the internal structure or design or implementation of the team of the item being tested is known to the tester. The different levels of testing. The low-level testings are unit testing done by programmer or developer, integration testing by the development team, high-level testing like system testing done by independent test group, functional testing also done by independent test group, acceptance testing by the customer. Specialized testings like volume testing, load, stress, usability, security, performance, recovery, installability, configuration, compatibility, reliability, resource usage, acceptance, alpha, beta, and regression testing, etc. Verification and validation techniques. Assuring that a software system meets the user's needs. Verification means, are we building the right product? And validation means, are we building the product right? In other words, verification is the process of evaluating products of a development phase to find out whether they meet the specific requirements. And validation is the process of evaluating software at the end of the development process to determine whether software meets the customer expectations and requirements. The method of verifications are walkthrough, that is informal meeting of evaluation, inspection, review, method of validation, testing, and by end users. What is software inspection? The inspection, it is the most formal review type. During inspection, the documents are prepared and checked thoroughly by the reviewers before the meeting. It involves peers to examine the product. A separate preparation is carried out during which the product is examined and the defects are found. The objective of inspection: find problems at the earliest possible point in the software development process, ensure that agreement is reached or reached on rework that may need to be done, verify that any rework done meets predefined criteria. And for software inspection, we use defect removal efficiency. The equation for defect removal efficiency is errors by errors plus defect. This is the end of the session. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you are having any queries, please mail to me to the mail ID given in the slide. Thank you.